A £20,000 salary in the UK sounds like it should be manageable, but once tax, national insurance and pension contributions come out, and once rent, bills and food are paid, a lot of people on this salary are left wondering where it all went. This video is not going to tell you to cut out your morning coffee or cancel Netflix. It is going to show you a realistic, honest breakdown of what a £20,000 salary actually looks like month to month in the UK in 2026, where the pressure points are, and what is genuinely possible in terms of saving and building financial security on this income. Before we can budget anything, we need to know what actually lands in your bank account. On a £20,000 gross salary in 2026, here is what comes out before you see a penny. Income tax. The personal allowance in 2026 is £12,570. So you pay 20% basic rate tax on £7,430, which is the amount above the allowance. That comes to approximately £1,486 per year in income tax. National insurance. You pay 8% national insurance on earnings between £12,570 and £50,270. On a £20,000 salary, that means NI on £7,430, which works out to approximately £594 per year. Workplace pension. Assuming the auto-enrolment minimum of 5% employee contribution on qualifying earnings, your pension contribution is approximately £480 per year, though this varies slightly depending on exactly how your employer calculates qualifying earnings. Adding those deductions together gives total deductions of approximately £2,560 per year, leaving a net take-home pay of approximately £17,440 per year, or around £1,453 per month. That is the number we are working with. £1,453 per month. Everything in this budget needs to fit inside that figure. Let's build the budget from the ground up, starting with the non-negotiables. Housing. This is the biggest variable in any UK budget, and it depends enormously on where you live. Outside of London and the South East, a room in a shared house typically costs between £450 and £600 per month, including bills. In London, that figure rises to £800 or more. For this budget, we will use £550 per month as a reasonable national average for a room in a shared house, including utility bills. Food. A realistic grocery budget for one person, cooking at home the majority of the time, is around £150 to £200 per month. We will use £175. Transport. This varies significantly depending on whether you drive, use public transport, or can walk or cycle to work. A monthly bus or train pass in most UK cities costs between £60 and £100. Car ownership, including insurance, fuel and maintenance averaged out monthly, typically costs £250 to £400 per month. For this budget, we will use £80, assuming public transport or a short commute. Mobile phone. A reasonable SIM-only contract runs around £15 to £25 per month. We will use £20. That gives us essential monthly outgoings of approximately £825 per month, leaving £628 from our £1,453 take-home pay. After essentials, the remaining £628 needs to cover everything else. That includes personal spending, socialising, clothing, subscriptions, toiletries, haircuts, and anything unexpected. And ideally, some savings. Let's be realistic about discretionary spending. Even on a tight budget, most people spend something on socialising, eating out occasionally, entertainment, and personal care. A reasonable estimate for this category on a £20,000 salary is £200 to £300 per month. That leaves somewhere between £328 and £428 per month that is theoretically available for saving, investing or building an emergency fund. In practice, the reality for many people on this salary is that the numbers above do not add up quite so neatly. If you live in a higher cost area, if you have a car, if you have any debt repayments, or if unexpected expenses arise, the cushion shrinks quickly. But there's an important point here. Even on a £20,000 salary, saving is possible. It requires intentionality, it requires tracking your spending, and it requires making some trade-offs, but it is not impossible, and the habit of saving something every month, even a small amount, builds the foundation that every future pay rise will sit on top of. Can you save on £20,000 a year? Yes, but not a lot, and not without effort. Based on the budget above, a realistic savings target on a £20,000 salary is somewhere between £100 and £200 per month, assuming you are living in a shared house, not running a car, and keeping discretionary spending in check. That might not sound like much, but £100 per month invested in a stocks and shares ISA From age 22, a 7% average annual return becomes approximately £262,000 by age 65. The amount matters less than the habit and the time. At this income level, the priority order for that £100 to £200 should be clear. First, an emergency fund. Aim to build 3 months of essential expenses, roughly £2,500 based on this budget, before directing money into investments. Without an emergency fund, any unexpected cost forces you into debt. Second, once the emergency fund is in place, a stocks and shares ISA is the most appropriate home for regular savings contributions at this income level. One thing worth noting, on a £20,000 salary you're a basic rate taxpayer, and the pension tax relief benefit is 20%. Your ISA provides the same tax-free growth with more flexibility on when you can access the money. For most people at this income level, an ISA is a simpler and more accessible savings vehicle than additional pension contributions beyond the employer-matched minimum. Here are the most impactful changes someone on a £20,000 salary can make to create more breathing room. Check your benefits entitlement. On a salary of £20,000, you may be entitled to universal credit, particularly if you have children or high housing costs. A significant number of people on lower incomes do not claim benefits they are entitled to. Use the government's benefits calculator at gov.uk to check your entitlement. Review your housing costs. Housing is the single largest expense in most budgets and the one with the most potential for saving. Moving to a cheaper area, getting an additional housemate, or negotiating a rent reduction can free up more budget than any other single change. Switch energy and broadband suppliers. Price comparison sites like Uswitch and compare the market. Take 10 minutes and can save £100 to £300 per year on energy and broadband combined. Use a cashback credit card for everyday spending, paid off in full every month. On a tight budget, earning 0.5% to 1% cashback on food and transport adds up to a meaningful amount over a year. This only makes sense if you are absolutely certain you will pay the balance in full each month to avoid interest charges. Consider your income rather than just your spending. On a £20,000 salary, there is a limit to how much further you can cut expenses. The most powerful long-term lever is increasing your income, whether through upskilling, seeking a higher paid role, or building a side income. Even an additional £2,000 to £3,000 per year makes a significant difference to what is possible financially, to bring it all together. On a £20,000 salary in the UK in 2026, your take-home pay is approximately £1,453 per month. After housing, food, transport and essentials, you have around £600 remaining. Saving £100 to £200 per month is realistic, but requires genuine intentionality. The priority is an emergency fund first, then a stocks and shares ISA for regular savings. And the most powerful long-term action you can take on this salary is to increase your income, rather than simply cutting more costs. A £20,000 salary is tight, but it is enough to start building a financial foundation if you are deliberate about how you use what you have. If this video helped you understand what is actually possible on this salary, subscribing takes 2 seconds and means you won't miss a video. We post twice a week on making your money work harder in the UK, and next up we are doing the same breakdown for a £25,000 salary.